Most people who end up generating massive wealth look completely unimpressive during the years they are actually building it. We tend to associate future wealth with loud ambition, relentless networking, and a calendar packed with important meetings. But behavioral economists have quietly identified a completely different set of predictors for extreme financial success. It turns out that the people most likely to reach the top 1% do not share a specific personality type or a magical morning routine. Instead, they share a very specific set of psychological anomalies that most of society views as flaws. These anomalies act as an invisible filter, separating those who simply want to be rich from those who are mathematically destined to become unbelievably wealthy. There are 5 highly specific behavioral warning signs that indicate you are on this trajectory. The first one is entirely counterintuitive, and it has nothing to do with taking massive risks. In fact, it is about how you handle the exact opposite of excitement. Chapter 1: The Tolerance for Mundanity. The first clear sign is that you possess a high tolerance for profound, unglamorous boredom. Society sells us the idea that building wealth is an exciting adventure filled with constant dopamine rewards and thrilling breakthroughs. The reality is that the foundation of nearly every major financial achievement is built on an endless sequence of highly repetitive and incredibly mundane tasks. People who are destined for extreme wealth do not need to be constantly entertained by their work. They understand that the highest returns always come from compounding efforts that look incredibly boring from the outside. While others abandon projects because the initial excitement fades, you lean into the repetition. You see the monotony not as a barrier, but as a strategic moat that keeps your competitors away. If you find yourself perfectly content doing the invisible work that nobody else wants to do for months on end, you possess a structural advantage. But this tolerance for boredom only works if it is paired with the second sign, which changes how you process negative feedback. Chapter 2: The Decoupling of Ego. The second warning sign is your ability to completely separate your personal ego from your immediate failures. Most people attach their personal value to the outcomes of their projects. When a business idea flops or an investment goes to zero, they interpret it as a personal indictment of their intelligence. You view failure simply as expensive data. When something you try inevitably falls apart, your primary emotion is not shame, but clinical curiosity. You do not spend time trying to defend your broken ideas to other people to save face. Instead, you ruthlessly dismantle your own failures to understand exactly which variable went wrong. This emotional detachment allows you to pivot incredibly quickly, while everyone else is still busy nursing their bruised egos. It's a rare psychological trait to look at a devastating loss and only see the structural mechanics of what happened. This ability to absorb losses without losing momentum leads directly into the third sign, which fundamentally alters how you perceive the timeline of your success. Chapter 3: The Power of Asynchronous Patience. The third sign is that you operate on a timeline of asynchronous patience. Ordinary thinking suggests that if you put in a month of hard work, you should see a month worth of measurable results right away. You have completely discarded this linear view of effort and reward. You are perfectly comfortable working in complete obscurity for years without seeing a single dollar in return, because you understand the mathematics of compounding. You recognize that the biggest payouts in life are heavily delayed and often arrive all at once in a sudden upward trajectory. This means you do not panic when your current bank account does not reflect your current level of effort. You are playing a game with a time horizon that extends decades into the future, making the minor setbacks of today feel completely irrelevant. People around you might think you're wasting your time, but you are quietly waiting for the exponential curve to catch up. Speaking of the people around you, the fourth sign reveals why you might currently feel a bit isolated. Chapter 4: Valuing Friction as a Filter. The fourth clear sign is that you actively seek out friction and view it as an opportunity rather than a blockade. When an industry becomes complicated, heavily regulated, or incredibly difficult to navigate, most people instinctively run in the opposite direction, seeking easier paths.
You do the exact opposite. You understand that difficult environments are the most fertile grounds for outsized wealth because the friction itself eliminates nearly all of your potential competition. Instead of complaining about how hard something is, you study the difficulty. You realize that if you can build a system to simplify or bypass that specific friction point, the market will reward you disproportionately. You don't want things to be easy. You want them to be just hard enough to keep everyone else out. This deeply contrarian view on difficulty explains why you are drawn to complex problems that others avoid. But all of this analytic capacity is useless without the final behavioral sign regarding how you handle your resources. Chapter 5. Purchasing time over purchasing status. The fifth warning sign is an absolute obsession with purchasing time rather than purchasing status. When the average person experiences an increase in income, their immediate instinct is to upgrade their lifestyle with visible markers of success like luxury cars or designer clothes. If you are on the path to unbelievable wealth, your very first instinct is to buy back your own hours. You eagerly spend money to eliminate low-impact tasks from your life, whether that means hiring someone to handle your administrative work or paying for services that save you a trip to the store. You view your time as the ultimate unrenewable asset, and you treat it with a ruthless level of protection. You are entirely willing to look broke to your peers if it means you have completely freed up your mental bandwidth to focus on larger decisions. This shift from status signaling to time hoarding is the ultimate tipping point. However, acquiring all this time brings us to a hidden variable that dictates how far you will actually go. Chapter 6. The habit of deliberate ignorance. Beyond the 5 core signs, there is a hidden variable present in almost every independent billionaire, and it's the capacity for deliberate ignorance. We live in an economy that praises infinite consumption of news, fleeting trends, and endless streams of data. The truly wealthy practice strict information diets. You intuitively understand that most of the information presented to you daily is completely irrelevant to your future goals. You are incredibly comfortable saying you don't know the answer to a popular culture question or the latest outrage dominating the news cycle. By deliberately ignoring the noise that consumes the attention of the general public, you preserve an immense amount of mental clarity. You channel all of that saved mental clarity directly into your singular area of focus. This intentional blindness to the unimportant is what allows you to see the lucrative opportunities that everyone else is too distracted to notice. This brings us to the final psychological shift required to solidify your financial destiny. Chapter 7. Moving from consumer to architect. The final shift is a permanent transition in how you interact with the world around you, moving entirely from a consumer to an architect. Whenever you encounter a new product, a successful business, or a viral trend, you no longer consume it at face value. Your brain automatically deconstructs the mechanics behind it. You ask yourself how the supply chain functions, what psychological triggers the marketing uses, and where the actual profit margins are hidden. You can't walk into a local coffee shop without unconsciously calculating their hourly overhead and customer acquisition costs. The world is no longer just a place where you spend money. It's a massive blueprint of overlapping systems waiting to be understood. If you find yourself constantly analyzing the unseen machinery of daily commerce rather than simply participating in it, you have adopted the ultimate mindset of the builder. You are no longer just participating in the economy, you are preparing to own a significant piece of it.